I think I should. I really enjoyed this song. This was supposed to be Thanksgiving music, and I've definitely played it out. I've gotten my $29.99 off the rights to this song. I'll tell you that. Now,
in 2030, this will still be playing.
Speaking of the year, Richard Sarvate to my right.
Hello.
Dr. Abby in studio.
Hello.
This is the episode 3 of the year in review series, I suppose. Now, this year, as I stated over and over again, has meant a lot of the same stuff to a lot of people. Marred by by things we could have never expected. That being said, sometimes when it is darkest, that is right before dawn, and, there is promise for the future, and hopefully it was more than just negativity throughout the year. And that's something that this whole series I tried to focus on. It was kind of just remembering the things that had happened. And this crew that I have here today is a little different than the crews that I had here the other days. All comedians have been here before. And now it's just one comedian and one doctor. But that being said, as much as you are a comedian, Richard, you are a voice of reason.
Really? I've never actually thought of me as that kind of thing.
No, you absolutely are a voice of reason. Doctor, are you?
Yeah, I had a technical mishap.
No,
okay.
you both bring in the new year, in this year, well, in 2020, you both have brought a lot of sanity to my madness, which I have fallen victim to, my own madness many a time.
Sure.
Throughout the course of my life.
I can definitely see me being a voice of reason in your life.
Yes.
Me.
Well, you.
I'm definitely more reasonable than you. But in general, to people, I don't think I'm a voice of reason.
well, we're sliding slightly away from the point. But for me personally, these two have they have been there since this room, and Andy Kozel, David Murphy both commented on the studio and the progression that has come. I think we should move the squeezy ball from Hazel. The progression that has come that COVID forced me into, I am very thankful for, because a lot of you people who watch me now, you never knew me before. And I was a delusional comedian. I thought I was going to make it as a comedian and just a comedian, and I was going to be fine. And I had the blinders that, like horses have. And I was on this path that it was going to put me on a path where I would have ended up very unhappy, and I knew that. And I was in denial, and I just kept going. And then this year, when the pandemic happened, I had a total loss of identity. I was forced into something that had been in my mind for a long time, but as hard as it was, and as hard as it still is, because if I make anything look easy, it's fool's gold. I assure you that everything, all the struggle that I have endured through this year, just like you, I hope and I believe there's a bright side to it, and there's growth that happens from it. And sometimes when you're in the fire, it's hard to see how you're going to rise up as a phoenix. It's really hard to see your rebirth when you're literally burning to ashes, which some of us have felt throughout this year. And that's why, as much as I try to bring levity to situations, I am dead serious about a great many things. And I am very passionate about an equal amount of things, and doing my best is one of those things. And this show, and Hazel the dog, And these two people here, I am very thankful for. And I hope and wish a wonderful new year, to all of you. And that's why this year, as much as pour it, Richard, I know.
Pour it right in the can.
I do. Yeah, we'll go to Sarvate can, but I do have a way of making people feel that a shot is appropriate. Because these are things that not only I'm dead serious about, that I absolutely hope I hope I impress these points clearly, because I know sometimes I'm all over the place. Oh, I'm very clear about my ability to talk about 3 different things at the same time and confuse everyone. So
I wish there was some sort of like color coding above your head that could tell us like what topic we're on,
Yeah, well, that would help a lot of people. But I have, I work on my craft and my speaking and on my ability to make some of these thoughts coherent and maybe understandable, because I believe my only gift in this world, my main gift in this world is my brain. And if I can help and do better with it, I am thankful and appreciative, and this year has forced me to use it in ways that I forgot how to. And I hope you two understand you were a big part of that, and I'm very thankful to both of you.
We're thankful for you, Brian.
Yeah, I'm thankful to have something to do each week. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's a very low compliment, but I'll take it. Like that, it was literally the lowest rung of compliment.
I'm literally like, okay, I have one thing to do today.
Yeah,
I will.
I've scraped the bottom of the barrel, and there is nothing remaining but the Brian Moreno Show.
I mean, without this show, what would I be doing right now? I'd be drinking.
Yeah.
I think that's a bigger compliment than you give it credit for.
Yeah, that's
you gave him a little purpose.
Well, I think
that's a big thing.
I think if I get any level of success, like any level more success in this world, I hope to bring a lot of purpose to a lot of people, and that I do appreciate, because I know that just for me to start this was the hardest thing. Every person, just like David Murphy was here yesterday, every comedian, not only did they not believe in me, they talked a lot of shit.
Oh, I believe that.
And I can't.
They are the worst people on the planet.
A lot of talking. I have to admit, I was impressed when you followed through.
Well,
I wasn't sure. I had faith, but I wasn't sure.
Well, sure. I mean, not only are my words that they put out, large endeavors to follow through with some things that my knowledge for a lot of this stuff was extremely remedial.
But I also
when we
think
started,
that you're not giving yourself enough credit. You put a lot of work into this even before pandemic hit.
Yeah, I
think it forced your hand in a way that was unprecedented, but I think you still had the ambition. So I think you deserve more credit than yourself.
I'm thankful to, again, not the point I was trying to make.
Would you mind if I labeled each of these sound absorbers with the ones that I put up?
Yeah.
You should find them in the corner.
You should. It was definitely a lot of that side and a lot of that side.
And hey, a fair amount of these ceiling ones
I think a fair amount of those ceilings I redid, so we should sign them together.
We can definitely, yeah. Like one of those
collaborative effort.
Yeah, like those insignias on like benches when people donate.
I could get my prescription stamper and just put.
I'm sure
that'd be some fantastic branding. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, I should call this Dr. Abby.
Yeah. DEA number.
Now, I have to say, Doctor, your memory of this year will probably be different than ours and a lot of comedians. So that's why I wanted the news crew in here today, because I think this year we've discussed a lot of news topics that are that are not only overlooked, to say the least. We have discussed a lot of things that a great many people might not have heard of.
Sure.
And so I hope some of the news that we've brought to your table you might remember in 10 years, because that's my rule of thumb. If you don't remember in 10 years, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
No, I mean, it matters in the moment and you're going to get mad, but that's how I get over things.
I'm trying to think of what things I remember from 2010.
I don't even know. And that's such a great way to put me on blast, because I have zero idea what would have happened in 2010.
I got no idea. I was in San Francisco. It was my third year in San Francisco.
See, you're already better off than me.
You don't even know what city you were in 2010.
Yeah, leaps and bounds. Like, that was amazing. Now, doctor.
Yes.
Your year, how would you quantify your year?
Well, my year, my experience with the pandemic was very different from a lot of people, because my day-to-day life didn't really effectively change all that much, because I was still going to work continuously, like I wasn't going out to eat. I was never actually the most going out kind of person. So, it was kind of surreal, because in one way my day-to-day life didn't change that much. My hospitals weren't hit that hard in the beginning. LA wasn't generally hit that hard in the beginning. But my field and things with my work were thrust into everyday vernacular in a way that I found very surreal, and even now, like, I turn on CNN and like once a week I see people as a talking head, physicians that I've trained with, talking about either, their experience in the ICU or in the ER. And that's very strange for me.
Yeah, it's like when we see comedians on TV, and we're like, I've done a mic with that guy.
Yeah, I mean, when you guys see people on TV, it's sort of like, that guy's in a commercial,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I saw someone who was, one of my fellowship leaders, talking on CNN about how hard his hospital has been hit. I saw someone who was my intern in New York, talking about how he had caught COVID 2 days after he got vaccinated, and then hearing all the talk about intubation and ventilators, and that's something that comes up a lot in my field, is just very strange for me.
Yeah, I say intubation, 2 or 3 times a week.
Now let me ask you though, doctor, do you think, pandemic is going to be the number one thing you think of in 2020, but did it force your hand in any of the ways that I feel like I'm saying, or is it totally unrelated? Because I feel like a lot of comedians, a lot of people in the entertainment industry went through a ton of change, and it was a great leveler. Like, a lot of people, they had their agents taken away, they had the studio backing taken away. Like, there were people who I thought were comedy gods who I saw a lot of just the hype machine. And, I don't like to say names about any, because it's like, however people becomes, what they are is fine. But I know that I will remember 2020 for as horrible as it was, the way it forced me. I mean, do you feel like as a doctor, who really saw it?
I think the way that the pandemic has affected healthcare workers is very different from that perspective, because it's sort of, we feel kind of hung out to dry.
Well,
especially with all the politicization of the pandemic, and people, what I read this article which captured an idea that I myself was unable to describe, but toxic individualism, with the anti-maskers and people flouting, restrictions. It's the idea that, people don't care about the other. They don't care about what's happening to people dying in the hospital. Right now I have former colleagues who are treating people in a gift shop. Their hospital is double capacity and they are run ragged, and people in the media, not necessarily, mainstream media, but people, more in the right-wing community talking about like healthcare workers lying and inflating numbers for money when we're working to our fingers down to the bone.
So that's something you're really going to remember, because there's the politicization of COVID.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck with that visual of treating a patient in a gift shop, just like
it's crazy.
Doing surgery and there's like 20 Mickey Mouse
and
animals.
it's so striking because when it happened in New York and everybody's clapping, I knew everyone, all my friends were saying, oh, they're going to forgive loans for frontline workers. And I was like, people are going to move on. People don't care for that long. They're going to forget and it's going to become boring. And then we'll just be taken for granted. And it's basically what's happened. It's like, let it run, let them work to the bone.
Do you feel like less people will be healthcare workers because of?
I think people are leaving healthcare because of it.
Man.
It's really hard. Healthcare was, especially medicine, was already becoming less and less rewarding because it's sort of been for decades that they cut reimbursements, and the cost of becoming a physician just goes up and up and up. You should see my student loan balance, and it becomes unviable, especially when you become a target and the amount of science denial that's going on nowadays. It's extremely disheartening, and where it's really hurting people is in rural communities. Like, rural healthcare workers are giving up because the environment there is that people distrust you, they hate you, and it's only when their life is in peril that they, beg to need you, and people are really fed up.
Well, see, that's a great point. I'd never considered the places where they need the healthcare workers the most.
They're driving them away.
Are the places where they are going to get driven away the hardest?
Yeah, like in North Dakota, they were, when they were having 30% positive COVID rates, and nurses are like, have people coming in and being like, I can't believe I'm sick. It's not real. And it's just the spread of disinformation. It makes you, what's the point in trying to help people? They don't want your help.
Wow. And it, when you look back at 2020, these are going to be the things that you think really changed your profession?
I really hope not. I think these are the things that we're bogged down in right now. But when you asked me to make my list of things that I would remember in 10 years, I tried to choose things that were things that were going to have a legacy that would be beyond 2020, that they would become things that moved humanity forward in a way that it doesn't matter the politics of today, because these things are going to rise up above that.
Okay, well, let's go. Let's do your first.
And so the first thing that I wanted to talk about is directly COVID related, and the rest of them are not.
Yes.
Is how incredible the vaccine development was. And this is something that, it's like you said, it's hard to see it when you're in it. But like I said, I tried to think, in 10 years, what's going to be something that really stands out as something positive that came out of this year? And, before this year, the fastest vaccine ever developed was in 4 years. Wow. And this was less than a year from, identifying the genome of COVID-19 to having vaccines on the market, going into, like, not just in trials, like out being distributed.
Do you think this will affect vaccine development then moving forward?
100%. I think, and like I said, I've been thinking a lot when you told me to come up with my ideas. And, even if this had happened 10 years ago, the science wouldn't have even been there. It was because we dealt with the prior strains of SARS and MERS and Ebola and the vaccine development that's been going on for the past 10, 20 years, that science was ready. And that's what I think is really incredible. And what made it go so fast. And it actually, you know, people say, oh, it was so fast, they cut corners. The thing that really made a difference was just the funding from governments, because it was all pooled together. And so these companies didn't have to take on the risk of waiting to see if their first trial. So like they developed the planning in parallel so that as soon as you have your first trial says safe, you can start enrolling for the next one immediately, because they don't want to put in the money and effort on part 2 if part 1 hasn't proven itself yet.
Now, the FDA usually works very slowly, correct?
Yeah, but this wasn't the FDA. This was, you know, pharmaceutical companies in the United States with Operation Warp Speed was a combination of the NIH and the CDC. And Pfizer actually didn't get any funding from Operation Warp Speed. It was the partner company, BioNTech, who got, I think, $400 million of German funding. And they brought the mRNA technology, you know.
Really?
And so it was really that funding that made these things be able to happen so quickly without cutting corners in safety.
More money.
I think it's amazing.
I think it's really amazing. I think it's really sad that they're struggling to get it distributed. I think it's really sad that there's so much fear, but
Why are healthcare workers turning it down?
because healthcare workers is a broad category. And, you know, different level of healthcare workers have different level of scientific training, you know? And the further you are from your training, the more you're out of the academic community for a lot of healthcare workers. And people are susceptible to Facebook and fear-mongering, you know? But like, if you've been paying attention and you understand the concept of these trials and the concept of an mRNA vaccine, I think it's incredible. You know, mRNA is inherently unstable in the body. It goes away quickly, you know? It uses your own body's resources there's no virus involved at all. It just makes the protein and your body's like, what is this? Like, make antibodies, and then like it's gone, everything's gone.
Wow.
You know?
Do you know you can actually buy the vaccine in Los Angeles right now for the healthcare workers who've said no? That vaccine gets
true?
put back into circulation, and they devised
Who's that?
Like CEOs and whatnot, right? It's very.
Where did you hear that?
I will show you, but
I
yes.
bet you can find on eBay just
Because
COVID
that
vaccine.
is
It's getting put back in the circuit. If you did,
yeah,
if a
but
healthcare
that
worker,
is
There was a guy in
not the way it's supposed to be.
There was a
Well,
guy in the corner who
telling
was
you.
selling it.
well, I mean, I have not yet. I have inquired to 2 places to see what the price would be
I mean,
for me.
people would lose their licenses for doing that.
No.
This
I
this
think
can't
you
be
buy it. I
regulated.
think you have. I think it goes back. I think to the
there's
city or the
no-
county.
Yeah, but the
or
city
the
is
state.
not selling them.
I believe so.
That is there's no way.
I'm
There's
actually.
no way
Everyone
because-
can be bought.
Because so many rich people have been trying to do this, and every regulator is saying, no, you cannot cut the line. If any physician is caught or any group is caught redistributing in a way that cuts the line, they will get all their licenses revoked.
But
You know,
we should
that-
still see
And
if we can get it.
Pakistan is doing that. They are, like, after their initial group, they're saying if you have money, you could buy it.
Okay, well, maybe you have forgotten a few of our news articles, but we have proven time and time again that those with medical license can have
Yeah, but that's what I'm
low
saying.
more levels of moral aptitude,
I'm saying that is risky behavior.
as is being a doctor. As is,
Yeah,
I
sure.
would say going.
Sure, but being a doctor, you have sort of an ongoing income potential. When you do something like that, you lose your license. That income potential goes bye-bye.
I told you, I was about to tell a doctor, if you don't see me because of my hernia, I'm going behind 7-Eleven.
I mean,
Whoever's
I think he
gonna
would
do
be
it.
like, I think he would say, okay.
It's just
that's
a
your
hole, right?
prerogative. It's
I
not
would
his
say, what
license.
kind of Hippocratic oath did you
I
swear?
mean, you're the one making bad choices.
Well, no, I'm putting ultimatums.
Ultimatums don't work like that.
Well, maybe I need to learn about ultimatums.
I think so.
What do you have next for us, Doctor?
Oh, are we just going straight through mine?
Well, no, and then
can I
we're gonna
bring
get
up
something?
no.
should
Then we're
get
gonna get to
Richard.
Richard next. No, I want.
I only have a couple things, so maybe we could just alternate. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
I
Well,
think
then
we should
let
just
me.
alternate. I mean, I could, like I tried to put a positive spin on everything, and I thought Dolly Parton funding the Moderna vaccine partially was a really wonderful story.
Okay. Now, before we get to you, Richard, is it just because of her breasts? Why Dolly Parton? Because
because she has had a relationship and a friendship with a physician that she met, a surgeon at Vanderbilt University after she got into a car accident, I think 7 years ago.
Dolly
And-
seems like such a friendly woman.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And she
What's up, Dolly?
has a really wonderful legacy of doing wonderful things for the community. And he mentioned what was going on with the COVID vaccine research, and she donated, I think, $1 million.
See, that's super wonderful.
I think that's great.
See, that was why, because it was all connected. That's why I wanted to at least say this, because I didn't know why the Dolly Parton connection was so meaningful to you. So I was curious about that. Because normally the news is curated by me, and I wanted today to be some of the things that came from your guys' mind, because we get enough of me.
Yeah, boy, do we.
Yeah, boy, do we ever get enough of Brian.
God damn.
I literally do 10 shows a week about 25 topics.
Rabbit hole.
Literally putting out 14 hours of content a week.
Yes,
Content.
I've ran. Well, the thing is, I got a lot going on in my brain, and this is how not only I get it out in a very healthy way. I think if you actually listen to some of the things I say, you're probably better off. And I mean that deadly serious. Like, I'm not tooting my own horn. Like, learn from my mistakes. Don't repeat them.
And we are the shepherds. We shepherd these sheep that are like running all over the place. So I come here. I see myself as Moses in this whole thing, you know?
I do too. I would let you part the seas. But what do you have, Richard Sarvate?
I want some uplifting news that I remember from this year is Hazel the dog coming into our lives. And also America defended the world championship for food eating. Joey Chestnut from my hometown of San Jose, California, continues to be the world champion of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest.
And do you
I
know?
knew our lists would be very different.
No. I'm pulling up Joey Chestnut. Right, like he was like the first Joey that comes up. Just so you know, which I think
He's
is
one of the most famous Joeys in the entire world.
unbelievable. Okay,
From
now
my
we're
hometown.
Wow.
pulling up the video. Joey Chestnut, yada da. Here, this is what it looks like
I believe
and what
it's
it takes to
63
be.
hot dogs in
It's just so
20 minutes or
gross how
something.
they have to do it, though. Like, they make the buns all wet.
Well,
And it's just like shoveling. Like, they should have a separate one of like normal eating, how fast you can normally eat it.
what surprises me
just regular.
Yeah,
is
just, like,
how.
not doing that gross method.
Oh no, you have to win, but you have to be gross.
Look, this is this year's 2020. This is current news. This is real.
Yeah, no, and he's defended it year after year, and
buns, and he looks like he's just like dying. Oh,
I mean, look, I like how they even have them in their terrariums.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
like
that.
I want to see someone enjoying
COVID
it.
safe, dude.
love
It's not safe
it.
for your liver, but
Yeah, like, do you know how much he's fucking his body up with
Yeah,
those
but,
hot
like,
dogs?
why can't
And
there-
they have them in a terrarium?
doctor, is this healthy for your body?
No.
Yeah, okay, doctor.
Not
Now-
in any way. Do not do this.
He's
Okay,
using
now
a lot of digestive enzymes, right?
Is he bleeding from the mouth?
Probably.
And look, that's America. We care so much that we are.
This is
We-
so bad.
And did
for
he
your
set a record?
organs.
Yeah,
This
he
year?
set the record. I think it's like 63 hot dogs and I forget how long, but let's see.
Oh my God,
I
this
want to
is.
see a contest of someone enjoying themselves. Like he looks.
Look at him.
Like
Oh,
he's
it's terrible.
suffering. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, he's sweating.
Yeah.
This is I'm so happy this was one
Oh,
of
I
the.
can't look at this.
Well, no, I mean, I would have never pulled it in 1,000 years. I would have never pulled this up unless.
I mean, these are things that are important to me, and in 2030, I want you to ask
Well, no,
me.
you're gonna remember. Like now, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, we talked about that." Like, look at this, and no one's even close. The closest guy has 42. Oh, 15 seconds, Joey. We just based on
my
respect, I'm gonna ride this out for the last.
75 hot dogs. He
sweating
eats,
so
he eats
much.
75, dude.
I love how DraftKings was in the back. I wonder if you
He's
could have
so far
put
ahead.
him as your fantasy hot dog eater.
How many hot dogs do you think you could eat
I mean,
before
what do you
throw
think the
up?
line is for like that? He's like 20 ahead.
Well, no, I mean like he set a record there, so there was definitely a number that you could have bet.
Wow.
There's definitely a number. I don't know.
My unit is still 0.
I refuse.
So.
Okay, like
Well, I think on our next sports episode, we should bet on some sort of eating show.
Well, you got to find a contest with the
yeah, it's like, what do you mean, dude? Like it outside on the patio?
We've had a
Maybe you
Yeah.
could have one.
Why don't you
Maybe you should just make the pleasant. Like you got to eat fast, but you got to look like you're having fun. You know.
How does that only have 455,000 views? The link will be included on the show.
That would be a great Brian Moreno show, dude.
Yeah.
Eating contest. Yeah,
Maybe
in your patio.
post-COVID, but-
But I got to get terrariums. That's such a pain in the ass to get human terrariums. Like, Jesus.
You don't have to.
plexiglass. is
Yeah,
not
like this
expensive.
show is a pain in my ass.
The production costs are through the roof. We're not
Already.
bringing in that much money.
not.
Yeah,
Already.
already. Yeah, I gotta get 3 human God, and then Hazel. Can you imagine how crazy she would go during a hot dog eating contest?
She might join in.
She might join in.
Yeah,
she
she
should
would
be one of the
join in.
contestants, dude.
Yeah, if you
Oh
can
my
eat faster
God.
than Hazel.
This is unbelievable. This show. What do you got, Doc?
Okay. So I feel like I'm gonna sound so lame coming after Richard now because mine are all so serious.
Well, I mean, I think we have a good contrast.
Well, yeah,
But,
like this.
So I think, not to make anything political, but I think the firsts that came along with the election and Kamala Harris, I found that really inspiring to finally see a woman in the White House, at least in the vice presidency. And as a, also woman who's in her 30s and not married, seeing her life.
Oh, she's not married?
No, she wasn't married. She
Oh.
got married at, I think, in her mid-40s.
Oh,
And
really?
Her husband has been incredibly supportive of her career. He is giving up his position in a law firm because of potential conflict of interests. He's
Wow.
moving to Washington with her and taking a teaching job at Georgetown.
Oh.
She's the first woman, the first child of immigrants who were here legally. And, the first Indian, the first black woman.
2 in 1 right there.
And I think it's really incredible the boundaries that she's breaking. And also Doug Emhoff being the second gentleman is Jewish. And, they have a wonderful multicultural home. His children from a previous marriage call her Mamala. When they met, she was like attorney general in her 40s and single. And, I find that really inspiring.
He probably had tickets.
To see her?
No,
Oh,
to that he
Brian.
needed to get out of.
Well, I think that problem is well gone.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, now he's in too deep. A lot of tickets.
I knew you were going to make this negative.
No, it's not negative. I am 1,000%. I don't believe. Look, I treat everyone equally. I was raised by strong, independent women, mainly, and I am not only very proud with the progression in this country. I like to see it acknowledged. That being said, I don't necessarily agree with some of her politics. Let's see
That's not the point.
No, it's not.
That's not the point.
No, it's not. But I just want to make it clear that I can disagree with her politics and totally appreciate everything that you said.
That's the beauty of America.
No, it is.
And it should be that we can do this in a civil way.
Yeah,
I think that some people lose sight of that.
I think it's fascinating that she is black and Indian. I don't know a single black and Indian person, and now there's one that is the vice president of the United States.
That is amazing, right?
Have you ever? And I don't even know a place where black people and Indian people meet.
UC Berkeley.
Yeah, UC Berkeley. What do you mean?
Yeah.
In the computer science wing.
I mean,
Yeah, I think her dad was Jamaican, her mother was Indian. And
Yeah,
they were
like
in
those
grad
computer
school.
science and medical wing are crossing, and they're like, well,
That's how my parents met.
oh shit! Okay.
At grad school.
I figure, I'm like, okay, when do doctors go to a hip hop concert? Was in my head, and then I was just like, and this was in the green room or what? I don't know.
No, it's super wonderful, and I really do hope that people can be less divisive in the next 4 years. I hope so.
I mean, people are going to be way less. Dude, kids these days, they don't even know that people ever didn't like black people. You know what I mean? To them, it's so crazy. Like Disney shows have the right amount of black people, Chinese people, and white people all hanging out. So I mean,
but those aren't the people that I'm worried about. Those aren't the people that stormed the Michigan Capitol building trying to kidnap
Or Erewhon.
the government.
oh, I'm glad that Erewhon
The
got
government.
stormed. I mean,
I
they're
mean,
selling
they should be
$16.
stormed for their prices and
Exactly.
but
Oh, yes,
not
those-
for masks.
I bought a $16 pint of charcoal vanilla ice cream at Erewhon, and they should be stormed.
Then just don't shop at Erewhon.
But I wanted to see what charcoal vanilla ice cream tastes like.
No,
It was so good.
just go to Whole Foods.
Really? So you paid $16
Yes,
for a pint?
for a Ben
and
and
I'm
Jerry's
gonna
size
actually
pint.
pull up on the screen so people can see. This was the Erewhon incident yesterday here in Los Angeles.
I drove by this
This is yesterday?
2 days
Yeah.
ago.
Or 2 days ago. Anti-maskers.
Yeah, like 50 anti-maskers show up at the Erewhon on Beverly and try to
Oh.
storm in.
Wow.
And they get into a fight with the manager. The cops are called, and I was at the pet store, and I'm like driving
Oh,
by.
I go here all the time. Wow.
Yeah, see, you never know where this show's going to take you. I can assure you that.
I like surprising Brian with news. I think we should get to, do our,
It's like, did you know this happened?
commentator's pick.
Well, no, I mean, most of this, I'm pretty well informed. That being said, perspective is what sometimes I lack. And you both bring a unique perspective to, like I said, some of my what I would consider madness. And that's greatly appreciated, because I can, fall into that Tasmanian devil syndrome.
I wonder what would happen if we just hit play and left you in this room alone for like 20 hours and we came back.
And I had to do a monologue,
Yeah.
a 20-hour monologue.
I think I've seen.
I think you've experienced a few
Glimpses.
monologues.
It would go. No, I mean, Brian monologues have. First time I ever heard that was in college, but I can imagine others have thought it before. But yes, Brian monologues are not a new thing.
Yeah, I think he would keep himself entertained and
like an-
talk to
Well, sorry, do I have
himself.
internet or am I just riffing?
I think just watching Brian do his errands would be entertaining.
I think we put you in an isolated, confined room with no external stimulus and leave you alone for 20 hours, record it, and then at the end of the 20 hours, we'll probably
it's like
discover.
the
I would-
Brian bubble.
I would
Yeah.
work on meditation though at the first. If it was.
Do you think you could make? How long do you think you would last in solitary confinement in prison?
Oh well, that's different. Not long.
Because there's no stimulation.
No, solitary confinement is almost inhumane the way
It is.
Yeah,
like
you can die.
like keeping people in there for
You go
so long.
crazy.
Well, the thing is, it's like you institutionalize an individual, and is the goal like yes, some people some people deserve to absolutely be in prison, but some people deserve to pay their dues and get another chance and get another opportunity. And when you institutionalize someone that way and take away all their social skills, it's not only counterproductive, it is not the answer. And I am all about answers.
Yeah. Wait, didn't we have the first another public execution this year? It was like the first public execution in like 10 years or
I don't know if you
something.
say pub, but I mean, I've heard that you
Yeah.
can buy tickets in certain states.
Things you're hearing about disturb.
Come on down.
Oh,
to
yeah.
the
I mean, I
mansion.
have circles. I run in circles. You don't, Doc.
Yeah, well, thank God for that. I don't think I would find these circles.
Yes, I don't
lucrative.
think you would have
I don't.
got your job if you did.
No.
Doctor, what do you have next?
Isn't it Richard's turn?
No, Richard just is Joey Chestnut. Oh, wait, no. You did Kamala. It
I
is
did
Richard.
Kamala.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Richard Sarvate.
Don't disenfranchise Richard's.
No, I don't.
Yeah. A lot of people have talked about this, but I want to bring it up one more time. A man's life completely changed this year when he got on a skateboard, put some cranberry juice in his
Oh.
mouth, and listened to Fleetwood Mac. He coasted down a little off ramp, went fucking viral. The cranberry juice company, Ocean Spray, bought him a new car and a new house. I
What
think
is his name?
His name is 420 Dogface.
420
Is
Dog
that
Face.
for real?
Yeah.
You don't know?
I just thought of him as the cranberry juice guy.
Yeah.
No, 420 Dog Face. This is.
He brought Fleetwood Mac to a whole new generation
Well-
of listeners.
In honor of 420 Dogface, I would
Yes,
like to
let's.
this right
Okay,
here.
Sarvate. The Sarvate cam is on. You okay? Now I'm going to pull. We're pulling up his Instagram. We're trying to get back. I don't. This guy posts so much. It's fine. Like I think it's wonderful. He bought himself a house.
Don't you think he's sick of cranberry juice by now?
I think he fucking loves cranberry juice. I think cranberry juice is his
And
god.
then he just has to carry around like a big Ocean Spray like all the time. Like that's annoying.
He does. And there's an issue because
Okay.
his handle is 420 Dogface and he's famous on TikTok. So there's like this unspoken thing that, like he's like a stoner, but he's like,
It
kids
seems
love
pretty
him.
spoken.
Very spoken.
Well, he smokes a lot. Look, there's
Yeah,
there's
like, I don't
weed
think-
right
Okay,
there.
he's smoking. Oh, his Instagram is a little more edgy than his
risque.
TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
TikTok you couldn't show that?
No, they'll take it down if you smoke weed on TikTok.
Oh, because it's run by
Really?
the Chinese Communist Party.
Right, exactly.
Oh, is it
No.
because it's a communist company?
It's
No,
an
no, no.
independent Chinese company, but
It's now owned by an American company.
I
It's
thought
been
that
sold.
deal fell through.
I think it got bought by Walmart. Let me
yeah,
check.
but I think that people like Trump stopped caring and they just like forgot about it.
Yeah, let me see who is TikTok.
Wow, so
owned
that's
by.
really interesting. You can't smoke weed on.
You cannot smoke weed on TikTok. No, I've had my videos taken down for holding a BB gun.
Yes, and this is the guy right here. He bought himself a house. I hear in all cash.
All ca-
Again, different circles I run in.
he married his girlfriend. He's has like a dog he loves. It all happened because think about it. People were like, he was able to enjoy himself with nothing.
See, this
He is the Buddha, right? You know what I mean?
well. See, this is a great story that I would have overlooked. I give you all the credit in the world with this one because he seems, look, he's always smiling. He's
Yeah.
always trying to bring some joy to the world. And I love that.
Yeah, and he's a guy. Look at him. He's like a blue collar guy. He's a regular dude, and he's making the best of what he's got, And so it's like we have so much more, right? But like, we
Well, I don't
make the
even know what
best.
that means. Like when you say so much more.
I probably had more money than
He just-
420 Dogface.
Well, no, not now.
Not now.
currently. Get the fuck out of here. It's where you're going, not
I
where
wish-
you've been.
I wish I had bought stock in 420 Dogface a year ago.
Yeah, I give you all the credit in the world, like with all those points, Richard. This is one of those stores. 3.3 million followers on Instagram.
Dude, he could sell us. He could pack the Hollywood Improv 5 nights in a row, every table 2 drinks, 6 drinks.
And he wouldn't have to tell one joke.
No,
Yeah, TikTok was not sold.
it wasn't. Oh, it's
Trump
Yeah,
just
that's
stopped
it.
caring
Chinese.
about it,
Yeah.
so they were like,
Well,
"Whatevs."
Well, TikTok gave me $25 this month, so you know what?
Mazel
Go
tov.
China! Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't even have an account.
TikTok
I
is
feel
not.
too old for TikTok.
I just think TikTok is too short of a content for Brian. Most videos are 6 seconds to 30 seconds long.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what you can do.
Well, it's not only too short for me personally. The way my brain works, I have enough. I don't. I'm trying to work on long form stuff or medium form. So that's why to totally switch gears wouldn't be doing this show a disservice, and I would be all over the place.
Well, I mean, look, the YouTube advertising money is going to be better than the TikTok advertising. So,
let me get halfway decent first.
Viewers, if you think this show is halfway decent, leave a comment. Let us know that we're doing a good job. Let Brian know he's doing a good job.
Brian
Actually,
Moreno
because
Show.
it's so weird to judge, because I sometimes think I know what people like, and then I'm like, I was exactly wrong. Or and it's so weird because it's the way YouTube suggests your videos. Like, you have so little control over how and when. So that's why I believe you just keep putting a good out.
Well, fuck the algorithm, dude. It's like, don't worry about the algorithm.
I don't.
Just like,
no, I don't.
Do your thing.
But I just sometimes wonder. I'm like, I get nothing on this one or this or this. I don't know. It's just very different sometimes. Doctor, what you got for us?
So this was a big year in a step forward for space travel.
Yes, it was.
With the SpaceX successful launch to the space station. And the other story that's not necessarily something that happened this year, but it was announced by NASA that they're planning to land the first woman on the moon by 2024. And there are
so
some
funny.
women in the running.
Wow.
Let's get a woman on the moon.
Well, I mean, obviously my picks are focused on feminism and science because
and
that's my language.
there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
So
Now,
That's so fun. Wait, so we're putting a woman on the moon just for the sake of
they
making a
want to
woman
go
on the
back
moon?
to the moon.
Okay, and they're like,
We got to throw a lady on there.
we gotta throw.
And it's the Artemis
This is so
project.
funny.
So this is the rock of the Falcon 9 that made it to the space station. Now, there's one question that I can tell you for sure NASA refuses to answer. If people have had sexual intercourse in space.
Probably.
I would think
I think yes.
that some
'Cause
astronauts
that's
are
a
just
need.
like,
Yeah,
we
I
gotta
mean-
try.
People do it in the hospital.
Listen-
They're definitely doing it up in the space station. The hospital is gross.
They don't call her Sally Ride for nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, I could be proven wrong on that. But
People have definitely
as
jacked off
far
in
as
space.
I know, NASA
That's for
will
sure.
not
Yeah.
answer. Say again?
That means
People have
yes.
definitely jerked off in space, though. That's proven.
Well,
1,000%.
where men go,
Yes.
so goes that activity.
And I want to
If
know
people
more.
are doing it on Zoom calls, they're definitely doing it in space.
I want to know more about jerking off in space. Does it just your cum just flies into the
Ugh.
galaxy?
I am not partaking.
Well, no, you're not in space. You're in a capsule.
Well, there's-
You would literally be melting. You would never get to completion if you were not fully
In the
protected in a
void.
spacesuit. You would literally be gone.
You don't think I can?
No way. You're not that fast.
no,
Nobody.
no atmosphere.
I have watched enough sci-fi movies to tell you for sure.
Even
You
Johnny
got-
Chestnut is
You
not
got
that fast.
Johnny Chestnut would get maybe one bun down. Okay, like he's not even getting a full dog.
I would just love to have some. I would just love to have some of my cum in orbit around the Earth. You know what I mean?
That's gross.
I think it's. Would
You
be-
know,
From a
like,
male
that's-
perspective. Like,
That's actually an interesting thing to think about. Like I would have never.
it's like
thought
the
of
Pentagon is like, we've discovered some sort of like unidentified flying
No,
object.
see, it would have to hit like a windshield, like a space windshield or something. Like no,
Yeah, it
no,
falls on a satellite.
because they do find bacteria that live. I don't know if I'm saying.
bacteria. A single bacteria is a bacterium.
Okay, so they do find bacteria. That it's very fascinating how it grows outside in space in zero gravity with no oxygen. Yeah, like so it's growing off something. This isn't this has not been fully vetted. this topic by me.
Yeah,
but no, I know for sure it does. No, I know for sure it does. And they have to be very careful what they bring from space to this planet.
Well,
very careful. They have to be very. I mean, on reorbit, things on the outside usually burn off, but you don't want to put things in like a container or something. Japan actually just got moon rocks. Some very expensive stone rocks. Just re-landed. I don't know if they've had analysis, but in the machine, it looked like there was some metallic object that people were saying, it was possibly man-made.
well, aren't the
Japan says it's
tardigrades-
just a piece of the collector. It just broke or
Didn't
something.
they say tardigrades live on the moon now?
I'm not sure. You have to familiarize me with the tardigrade.
Tardigrade, they think, landed in an Israeli space crash on the moon, and they think some of them have survived. They are these microscopic organisms. If you pull them up on Google, they're really funny looking.
Tardigrades live on the moon.
And what, they came from the Earth?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
Some of Buzz Aldrin's sweat.
Oh,
hit a rock.
Yeah.
These space things.
microscopic- No, but they're from the Earth.
No, but they're.
Oh, but these are they've survived every single extinction.
Yeah, like
they're like the
these-
most sturdy little thing ever.
Yeah, I've heard of this. And these things, I think there was something in Dune based off
Yeah.
of these. I
Well,
think so.
it
If
looks
I'm-
sturdy
if
as-
that
Yeah.
reference, I believe, is correct.
We should make tanks like this, you know? I think this is the ideal form. Like some blubber on the outside to protect you, and then just a hole for a mouth.
Yeah, that thing's not messing around. I don't.
Maybe I should be a tardigrade next Halloween.
You have to have a front and back
Like a
end,
little
though.
frumpy suit.
No, but you have to have a front
Oh,
and back,
like the horse?
like
That'd be cute at like a kid's party.
Oh.
I should
You might
ask
even
for a
need.
tardigrade at
You
my
might even
birthday
need
party.
3 friends.
I think this is a group costume. Yeah.
Well, if
The
you
Sounds
look,
tardigrade.
if you
this
look
sounds like
at
human
it,
centipedes.
See,
like,
you need-
tardigrade.
Right,
you would be in the front, saying
I'd be
hello
the
to everyone.
Hoover.
There'd be
The Hoover.
Richard and I'm
yeah.
walking in the back. That's the only way it works.
And we would survive.
I need to be able to smoke weed in there.
And then Hazel's
You're
in
gonna
the tail.
hotbox the tardigrade.
Hazel's in the tail.
That'd be great.
It's gonna be a waggy tardigrade.
We'll be like those Chinese people on Chinese New Year in the dragon, you know?
Yes.
All right, Richard Sarvate, what do you have for us?
Just a personal for me, my life has changed a lot this year. I have a stand-up comedy stage in my bedroom. I perform in front of a curtain. This year, for the first time, I did 4 hours of stand-up back to back. I've had people heckle me on Zoom by turning their cameras off because they didn't like my jokes. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. My life has changed a lot. I think.
Now, no. Don't short yourself. You have become quite a working comedian. Like,
This is my first year as a legit working comedian, so it's kind of crazy, yeah.
and the thing is, you have really found a niche digitally that you should be very proud of because so many people flounder in that medium. I do it as little as possible, just, because I'm not as in demand. I was trying to figure out how to say that kindly, but I couldn't.
Wait, you don't think you're good for like a corporate event where HR is watching?
No, but I'm also not like people do have their fears sometimes, and I may delve into a topic that isn't good for pre-business meeting, pre-sales pitch. And no, I have to say, to do that long of a time.
It was crazy. I was literally trying to remember what jokes I had told in the previous 3 hours of comedy, like cross-checking lists. And what I would do is I would like start jokes very slowly and then see if anyone's like, that's weird. And then as they were like, okay, they haven't heard it before, then I would do the joke.
Now, see, comedy is such an evolving thing. I don't know exactly how to quantify or qualify it, but it is such an evolving medium.
Yeah.
And I was kind of a Luddite. I was kind of not advancing for a while. Like, I thought stand-up was the only medium in which comedy was pure or comedy was real. And God, like, how stupid I was. Like, I was delusional. And I think you have definitely brought, some opened my eyes to some of the universe of comedy that maybe I was not only refusing to try, but I wasn't giving as much credit to as I should have.
It's just interesting to embrace the chaos. You know what I mean? Like, this is the stupidest thing to be doing, to log into a computer and tell jokes over the internet and have people listen while they sit in their bedroom. Like, this is not a real thing. And there's sounds. There's boop, boop. Maria has joined the meeting. Yeah, anyway, so I was fucking her, and it's like, it's like...
Yeah, they join literally while you're doing some sex joke or some semen in space bit. Right?
It's so funny, like, when I tell a joke, and I'm like, and yeah, so I don't do that anymore, and it's like, boop, boop, Jose has left the meeting. And it's just like, wow, he really didn't like that.
That's incredible. Like, that's absolutely...
Well, it's like such a different way to get your self-esteem destroyed. It's like...
Well, the thing is, it's so... The percent that you actually do well is so little. It's like, it's such a small...
Dude, I did comedy...
Like, if you really do well, it's not... Like, it's still... Not like you're like, did I do well?
I had to ask, like, dude, I did comedy for 300 blank cameras, and they were all accountants, and the mics were off. So I was just doing, it was like doing comedy for the NSA. It was like,
man, I was telling Courtney and Andy, you guys were there in Vegas. I did that Zoom show and got up at 8, and then everyone started joking about bad I was.
Life has changed.
You're so mean.
Yeah. Well, I probably should have just waited. If in hindsight, I probably didn't need this snack. As Courtney said.
Dude,
but I was hungry. Like, I just ordered food. It was right there. I do plan to do better with my weight this year, but I have to say that that I am very thankful for the friends that I've made this year, and I do think about the friends that I've lost. And it's just it is part of the ebb and flow of life.
I want to give a shout out to my friend Frosty Nugs from San Francisco, who passed away 3 days ago. It's crazy. He was a ridiculous man, and he would have loved for me to smoke weed on this show right now and say, "See you later, dude."
R.I.P. Frosty.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Dude, this guy
Frosty Bones.
This guy was the toughest guy. This is so, dude.
How do you know this man?
He's a comedian from San Francisco.
It was.
May he rest in peace.
He was part of a gang initiation. A Mexican gang in the Mission in San Francisco stabbed him in the heart.
What?
While he was parking his car at 2:30 in the morning in the Mission. He walked to the nearest hotel, collapsed on the floor, bleeding. They drove him to San Francisco General.
They can't have made it all the way to the heart.
He might have just got a little slice. There's different levels of cut. Doctor, there's different levels.
Maybe it nicked the epicardium,
maybe
but
it
not
nicked
all
it.
the way.
When I saw him in the hospital, he had his whole front, his like sternum.
Sternotomy?
Yeah, because they had cracked his rib cage open.
Get in there.
And I was talking to him, and he was like, it feels like they buttoned my shirt wrong, where you have like one button up, and you're like, fuck, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the wires they use on an X-ray to put it back together. Those things are thick.
See, that's why I enjoy the Year in Review show, because from everyone, it's a different perspective, And a lot of things have happened this year that should remind us like the things that we are thankful for. And I hope that the pandemic did open some people's eyes to how ridiculous some of the social media is, how ridiculous some of the values that we had pre-2020. Like, I hope, just because life is super precious, and I preach that all the time. Like I say, my father died at 65, and I know he would have done more if he would have known that's all the time he had. And
Dude, I think about that all the time. Dude, I'm like, I'm 36. I'm probably going to die when I'm 72. I'm going to do this shit one more time.
We can get a few more years out of you, Richard.
well, regardless, like it's every day is a gift, and sometimes it's very difficult to see that. I mean, even now, especially. Even now, like when things are the darkest, we just hope that it does get better, and that we do get that, as they say, the roaring, roaring economy
I hope
once
for
again.
The roaring 20s.
I don't really know what that means. The only experience I have is a Leonardo DiCaprio movie where The Gatsby.
Well, I think it was.
It was just the 1920s were just, a boisterous time, and the economy was thriving.
Yeah.
And so that's all the Roaring 20s is.
Yeah.
It was the most prosperous time of the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I just know the Leo DiCaprio movie, and it wasn't very good.
You mean The Great Gatsby?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a good book.
I don't know if you can contest F. Scott Fitzgerald right
based
now.
on the town I grew up in.
I think I cliff noted the book to be fair. I don't think I read but I definitely owned the book. 1000%. But I did see the film and was extremely underwhelmed.
I did not see the movie, but I liked the book, especially because it's based on the town I grew up in.
Now, I guess
which town did you grow up in?
Great Neck.
And that's where he fell in love, and see,
because it's a little peninsula, and Great Neck was all the new money, and then across the water was Manhasset, which is all the old money.
I just don't like, it's very wonderful, like, the new old money type of thing. I just hope that there is some level of equality, prosperity in the next 10 years. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope.
I think. Go ahead.
Like the divisions, because the way America was most prosperous is when there was a real middle class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the way the wealth gap is.
That's what I worry about, and that's
right
why I preach to people about getting people out of Congress that
you've been there for too long.
Yeah, that are making real bad decisions for your kids and your grandkids and this country, and you have to be strong enough to see that sometimes. And that's what I worry about when I hear this thing about the Roaring 20s. That's my where my brain goes. Now, who is next?
I think I am.
Okay, yes. What do we have, Doctor?
So, another loss, moving off of what Richard said, this fits in pretty good, is Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
The notorious RBG.
The notorious RBG. And, for me as a Jewish woman, she and her legacy, I cannot overstate how incredible of a woman Ruth Bader Ginsburg was. To have gone to Harvard Law, one of like 6 women in a class of like 500 in the 50s, and being told by her dean that she was wasting space that should have been for a man. And then, graduating eventually top of her class and, really pushing through all those boundaries, and then fighting for gender rights and doing it in such a smart way by representing men who were getting the short end of the stick for rules that favored women and widows. And, when widowers tried to get benefits. And that's the way that she made people see that, gender discrimination in the law was a problem.
Smart.
And, women weren't able to access their own credit cards before the changes that she made, and the way she broke it's like things that we take for granted today that she really fought for, that I think is really incredible, and I think it's a big loss.
Now, do you think her clerks, do you know anything about her clerks and the people who her tree of, because in law, it has a lot to do with your tree.
Sure, sure.
Like the people.
Like how Amy Coney Barrett clerked for, I think, Scalia.
Oh, sure. Well, but similarly, it's the people that you groom and the people that you send
Carry
on their
the
way.
legacy, yeah.
Now, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know much about her, but I would hope that she had groomed the right people.
I really hope so.
Yeah, I would have to ask legal scholars or someone like this about that. But
Well, it seems hard. I mean, who's the person that replaced her?
Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah, like, we're not moving in the right direction.
well, no,
At least it was a woman.
justices are things
She
are
should
going
be the
to
first
change.
person on the moon.
You know, things are constantly going to change, presidents and Republican, Democrat type of thing. But as a qualified judge, Amy Coney Barrett was absolutely qualified and totally deserves, you know, that she at least deserved consideration, and she got confirmed. And that, to me, I mean, hopefully she stays true to what she has presented in the past, because I think the court ultimately finds a way to be fair.
Well, I think that, I was heartened by all the Trump picks not caving to, certain things that he put in front of the court in the way that he expected a quid pro quo from the Supreme Court justices. But it's a lifetime appointment, and they are immune to his nonsense politics, and they have shot him down multiple times. So I find that at least encouraging that they're not patsies.
Well,
but he has packed the court.
But when you get to that point as a judge, you're hopefully not a patsy.
Hopefully.
Like hopefully not. Because it is quite an important position.
I mean, sure, there's senators who have recently been elected who couldn't name all three branches of government. So there are things that you expect that should be, I mean, being a judge is harder to get to because of all the things that you have to go through, but there are people in positions of power who are embarrassingly ignorant.
Well, that's the problem with elections.
Yeah. You
Like
get people who can't name the three branches of government.
You understand, popularity contests usually wind up.
Why can't we get Judge Judy on the Supreme Court? That would be sick, right?
I would love to see Rudy Giuliani go up in front of Judge Judy.
Oh my God!
Could you look up and see how much Judge Judy makes?
Oh my God! It's like a bucket.
Well, she has no desire to move into politics.
No. But
salary.
I think as a civic duty.
Judge Judy's salary.
Oh, she has $440 million. That's her net worth.
Yeah.
And then listen to her salary.
And she films them all in 2 weeks or something
Yeah, she
at
makes
like
$47
Sunset
million
Bronson
a year.
Studios. They just make them all, and then she goes.
I would
and puts her
semen
feet
in
up.
space for 440. Like no problem.
I want Judge Judy to do a show on the moon, dude.
You could actually.
She could afford it.
You could actually pay. You could actually pay for a spot on the space station for her yearly salary.
Well, that's her net worth. That's not her.
No. Her yearly salary is probably $26 million, something like that.
No, $47 million is her.
47 is her yearly.
Yeah, she's getting paid more than a basketball player.
So she's taking them after taxes, expense 26. Like I'm pretty close. I've investigated this particular.
Clearly.
I want to see LeBron James' salary this year and see how much.
Well, no, I mean because he's
$39 million. She's making $10 million.
Well, look, LeBron makes a lot of his money off endorsements, though. You have to look his total, the Forbes list of
total yearly earnings. No, $38.4 million.
See, he gets more from Nike. Like he might be getting 45, 50 million from Nike on the side.
Uh-huh.
LeBron's pulling in the Forbes list of highest paid athletes per year. LeBron.
Let me,
that'll show you.
but let me ask your opinion. Do you think it's fair that Judge Judy gets more money than LeBron each year?
What does fair
Yeah.
mean? What is in this question? Hold on.
Who do you think's doing more?
For
Judge
who?
Judy? Judge Judy is definitely providing a service that is needed.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't need it. Right. All right, nobody that I knows need it. So LeBron is severely underpaid based on my need
Okay.
for his
basketball.
work.
That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to hear. You think he's underpaid.
Yeah, for his work, like what, based on my needs.
Right.
Like this is, this is.
But the world at large thinks that a Judge Judy is more important than LeBron James. Know that.
But she's got. I mean, she got demand. Like,
Yeah.
the people who watch daytime TV are so loyal
Oh my
and
God.
so all about what they do. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Oh yeah, because those are like the Proud Boys. You know?
The soap opera, like people, like they love their soap operas. The soap operas were the first to get back in pandemic.
What's the longest running soap opera?
Probably Days.
Yeah, Days of Our Lives, dude. There's probably someone who was like 4 years
How
old.
do I know so much shit?
Oh my God.
Doctor, are you next, or who's the next
I
one
think
to
it's
drive
Richard.
my brain crazy?
Okay,
What-
I'm gonna do this next one, but I want this to be my last one because I can't.
Yes.
I can't top
one
this.
more each.
I can't top it. If you thought 420 Dogface was inspiring, this was the true moment of like the human will powering through this year. There was a Halloween costume contest. $300 was the
Oh.
prize, and a man showed up to this contest with no costume and left with money. So this is a Halloween costume contest that a man entered with no costume and got money. If that doesn't say to you that you can achieve your dreams, I don't know what does. Because if you have, he proved that if you have nothing, you can get something. And that's all you have to do in this life. That's the same thing as Al Pacino's speech in Any Given Sunday, that it's a game of inches. That man found the inches that day.
I am pulling the video up
He
now.
also asked me for my phone number
He
that
did?
day.
I have
He
to.
goes for it.
Yeah, I have to say this. Now, this video was flagged because when I initially put it up, I put COVID safe edition. Now, this was quite a day in the neighborhood. We had Prince, Negro. Oh, here we go. This is
This
the
is him.
gentleman. This.
He is a contestant.
And didn't he say he was German, and he was clearly not German.
He said he was from Germany. Look,
Oh, see
my
that.
God. And this is the point. Oh,
I still love how good Gabby looks in that getup.
and she's dumbfounded. Yeah, because
Street Fighter.
I know the Street Fighter characters, and
Yeah.
this guy is fucking. He's saying he's a surgeon, like someone in Street Fighter, and I'm like, there's no surgeon in Street Fighter, dude.
You're obsessed with Kyle.
I have to say,
So he's throwing in his Uber reference because he's like, I came all the way from Long Beach.
yeah, I'm shocked I was able even to technically pull this off.
I'm shocked he was technically able to pull this off, dude.
Yeah, this.
And I just want to like, this made me so happy.
Yeah, this was quite a day.
He's claiming to be German, and he has a strong Nigerian accent. His phone bill.
Man, like this was quite a day. I have to say that was. Yes, thank you, Richard. I really appreciate you. That day was quite. That was a technical feat that I could not have done it without all of you, and it was very funny. Like a lot of people enjoyed that. I think it might get a little more appreciation in the future. But that's why, sometimes I do things.
We're going to keep plugging it, dude.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the shows that I did. I had a wonderful time, and I will remember in 10 years. And I do hope that if you haven't seen the $300 Craigslist costume contest, you do. Because it is
It's raw, dude. This ain't no $5,000, hey, dress up like actual Batman, okay?
This was quite a moment. That technically speaking, it was a wonderful day, and it was a very funny, funny show. Oh, Doctor, what do you have? Thank you, Richard. You are such a sweetheart. I appreciate it.
So this year, 2 women won the Nobel Prize for their work on CRISPR technology. And I know this sounds very boring and sciencey, but CRISPR technology is a really, really incredible breakthrough that's going to change everything for like every field of our life, because it's a way to gene edit in much faster than anything else that's ever been done.
Wow, okay.
Now, what is the most practical early application? Like blood disease, stuff like that?
Disease. A woman has been treated with CRISPR technology who has sickle cell anemia, and she says she hasn't had symptoms in a year.
Really?
Yeah. It can change, farming, it can change agriculture. I know there's this huge push against non-GMO, but if we can feed humanity with climate change resistant crops.
Well, sure, a lot of non-GMO stuff is kind of just, conspiracy theories and stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So
and science denial.
I have a question. So if you edit DNA, DNA is in all of your cells, right?
Yeah.
So how can you edit it if you're only...
Because the way CRISPR works is it cuts out. So it can cut out. So the way it was developed is it's a form of an immune system for bacteria, because what it is these proteins that store bits of viral DNA in the bacteria's own genome as memory from prior infections. And so if a virus comes in, the proteins see the virus DNA, they put it in the genome, and then another one has that out. And so if it matches it, the virus goes away. And so because the proteins have the ability to cut DNA and insert, these women and their research co-opted this system in a way to edit genes in a way that you can just put something in that you want. And
but this is also how
you don't want.
You would.
There's a lot of ethical concerns with it.
Sure,
and
this is how you would make your perfect baby.
Yeah, like designer babies. There's a guy who's currently in Chinese prison for claiming that he genetically modified 2 baby girls to be immune to HIV. And they are growing up somewhere. No one knows if he really did it. He posted this on YouTube, and everyone was up in arms about it, and he's now in jail for saying that. But these girls are out there, but that is a potential thing. We could cure HIV if the gene that HIV attaches to, you just get rid of it, gone.
See, now that's a fascinating story. That's up there with Joey Chestnut I mean,
But I think that this is something that's moving forward this year that is going to, these are all I picked, everything I picked is legacy. You know, like these are things that are moving humanity forward.
and this is exactly that's exactly what I wanted, just because like all these stories that we try to do here are stories that I think sometimes get underplayed. And these are things that these are wonderful things that have happened this year and very meaningful, you know, from all the stuff you said, Richard, to everything Abby said. Like, this is stuff that hopefully can not only help us individually, but help humanity.
Mm-hmm. And I think
That's a big deal.
I think we can get bogged down in the politics of today and the ridiculous things that people are spewing, but I think science is moving forward at an incredible pace, and that gives me hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Enter AI destroying humanity because it gets too smart.
Well,
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, we have like 10 years till destruction anyway, so party up.
Enjoy
I
the 10
have
years.
one more, if I can do my one last little
Yes,
tiny
please,
one.
Doctor, please,
so this is
please.
my heartwarming one, that this is the year of the shelter animal and the rescue pet, because a lot of shelters emptied during COVID. I got a new rescue cat, Fitzwilliam, who's wonderful. You have Hazel, and there's going to be a rescue pet in the White House, and I think that's really wonderful.
Yeah, see, that's, you know, these were not only wonderfully heartwarming stories, they deserve the time that they have gotten, because pets bring so much joy to so many people's lives. And I really believe that Hazel has brought a tremendous amount of love into my life, and I am very thankful.
And there's
all the
so
time.
many that need love, so go out and adopt, spay and neuter.
Yeah, I love. There's this really cute cat in my neighborhood. Like, I see him probably once every 2 to 3 weeks, but whenever I see him, I'm so excited. And he's got this crazy thing. His meows, it sounds like "Brr, meow."
Oh, he's chirping.
It's like, but it's weird.
It's an activation noise. They go, "Brr."
Yeah, and then but he ends it with a meow too. It's like "Brr, meow."
Cats are wonderful creatures.
Anytime I see him, it's like my day is made.
You should come over to my place and meet mine.
Yeah,
They're
okay,
really
yeah.
special.
I fucking love cats. I'm
Yeah.
allergic, but I have
have
grown up with
Allegra.
cats. Perfect.
We have Allegra.
I just need like a hazmat suit and I can just
Yeah,
play
we
with
got
your cat.
Allegra at
we
the
put a
door.
face
Abby's
shield.
got
Yeah.
Allegra right there. That's,
Yeah.
If you want to appreciate my cats, I will not complain.
you know, I'm all for animal love and the love that animals give in return. And for those who harm animals, I have no tolerance. And I hope all those, like, it's a responsibility. As much as we do talk, you must understand it is a responsibility.
It's
And yes, and I think about that regularly with her. So please, please know that this show, like, I hope everyone else enjoyed it as much as I did, because not only did we get both of your wonderful perspectives, no, we got a lot of good information, and this year is going to end. And the dark at some point in time is going to turn into light, just hopefully sooner than later.
I hope so.
And-
Get vaccinated when it's your turn.
And nobody does it alone. Please don't forget that. You know, don't be sad. Don't feel like you can't reach out. You know, there's so much positive in the world. You just sometimes have to look a little bit harder for it. And that's okay. That's okay, you know, because it makes it worth it. And we are here, till the bitter end. At least, you know, I plan to be. I gotta say, this is, thank you, Richard Sarvate.
I'm kind of
Dr.
craving
Abby.
a hot dog.
Yes.
Snacky.
Or 65 of them.
No, I think
75, Richard.
75
Do you
is-
understand how pissed you would be if you're like, oh, I saw you do those 65? And
Bro,
he's like, what?
75.
You know how hard those last 10 were? You can't imagine the pain.
I no longer have a spleen.
Yeah, like 65.
Something's gonna rupture.
65? What is you talking about?
Add 10, motherfucker.
Yeah, like, and those are the hardest 10. He's like, I could have quit. This has been the Brian Moreno Show. Everyone has been wonderful. Thank you all so much.
Happy New Year.